Welcome to my daily watercolor practice series. Today we will be doing color theory, and this week we will focus on contrasting colors. And I made this series to help people who struggle to paint daily, struggle to just generally feel a bit lost with watercolors. So I created these exercises for every day of the week to kind of help you develop skills with watercolor. Now it all sounds a little bit boring, but it's actually really helpful and it's also really easy. So I want to encourage you to grab your paints and grab your brushes and join me in this. Now we're kind of focusing on different things, different techniques and stuff like that, but the main goal is to just feel a bit more confident using your supplies, and also to have something that you can fall back on. I found that when I'm using this schedule, I just paint daily because I know what I'm going to do each day. So yes, I'm also one of those people that struggle to paint. I have struggled to paint for a long time. Now I'm starting to feel more confident, and I'm finding things that help me, and hopefully they'll help you too. So I do encourage you to come along and like paint with me as well, because just listening to the video will probably be boring, but these exercises can really help. So I'm just gonna have a sip of my lemon tea, please don't judge me, and let's get started. We will start, as always, we'll start very easy with some swatches. So we're focusing on contrasting colors. So basically the ones that are opposite on the color wheel. It would actually be helpful if I created a color wheel, really. But that's kind of, I don't really want to go that technical, I guess. I'm just going to do swatches. So to start with, I'm going to swatch my red and pink paints with greens, and kind of like mix them together, because normally when you mix contrasting colors, they will create a bit of like a mud, you know, either a brown or like a gray. I should really have cleaner palette for this. Let me just wet this and we'll get started. Normally I work with a very messy palette. You know what, I'll clean it and I'll be back. Okay, this is as clean as it gets for me. It's not super clean, but it will do. I normally don't mind having a bit of a messy palette. But for this exercise it will be helpful if I can actually see what the colors look like together. So I'm just going to swatch red and then choose one of the greens. And I'm actually going to mix them here. And then that's a bit too much green. How about, because I kind of want to, there we go. I want to do like a swatch here of what it actually comes out as mixed together. So that's a brown. I think I'm gonna need a lot of tissue for this. Just gonna get it ready. There we go. So yeah, this is the first exercise. I grabbed the wrong brush. It doesn't really matter though. We're just seeing how our colors mix together, what we get. Now starting with green, just because I want to mix it up. Why not? Right, okay. And then mix together. And then I feel like there's too much red in this, so I'm going to just go here and kind of like try to find this happy medium, something like this. There we go. Also a brown but darker one. So I'm going to do this for all of my reds and greens. Then we could do blues and oranges and purples and yellows, for example. But I don't really have oranges, so I don't know. I'll think about what I want to do next. I think actually I'm just going to maybe paint some circles and do some layers or something. We'll see. I think what I find important is to actually know what my greens and reds, what colors they make together, because this is kind of harder to predict, I guess. We also usually have a lot of, especially reds in our palette, so getting to know them I think will be helpful. So yeah, this is just very chill, we're just swatching, but even though it might feel like, what's the point of this exercise, I think it's helpful to just get your brain used to just painting, you know, even if it's not a finished painting. This was my problem for a long time. I always kind of tried to paint something, you know, and I now realize I never really practiced. It was always with the outcome in mind. And now when I realize it, I don't understand why. But this is what I used to do. I used to just try to paint something, and I ended up getting really stressed about painting. Now this one kind of is turning out to be a bit more, well, on a almost purple side. I was gonna say grey, but let's see. There we go. Okay, that will do for the reds and greens, I think. And now that I kind of warmed up a little bit, we're going to paint some circles, maybe this time with oranges and blues. Let's do that. I just need to wait for this to dry, so I'll be back. Okay, so now this dried, and the next thing I'm going to do is circles. I'm just preparing a border using a clear tape. Technically, it's not the best idea. Like washi tape would normally works better, but I've run out, so I've been using clear tape, and it's not too bad. But anyway, this is kind of just a practice. You know, things don't have to be perfect. So even if it got like tears or whatever, I don't mind. I think I just realizing that I made a bit of a too big border now. It's another problem with this, but it's fine. Okay, so my idea is I will do blue circles, more like at the top, kind of to like imitate sky almost, and then orange ones on the bottom. I will start with the blue ones because usually the cool colors recede and the warm colors like kind of advance. So I prefer to start with the ones that recede. So I'll start with the blue ones, but I will also I will kind of make it look a bit like a sky, in a sense that I will start with I'll have darker blues at the top and also like bigger circles. I will actually start somewhere kind of around the horizon line, and then I'll start with the pale blues. So instead of just chatting about it, let's just do it. So I'm going to use different blues, but I will start with the palest ones. I mean, you can use just one color as well and just water it down, and then gradually oh, I used too much water. And then gradually add pigment to it, but I'll just use different colors just to make it a little bit more interesting, I guess. I do use a bit too much water. I do need to be wary of that. I don't know, or maybe it's just my brushes. I'm not sure. Anyway, here we go. Kind of want to try different blues, not just one. No idea how this will turn out. But this is basically what I'm thinking. Practicing colors, kind of getting. Oh, I did this a little bit too dark, but it's fine. Yeah, I want to like get my brain to think about which colors are contrasting. Just doing these simple exercises, even though they seem kind of pointless. I mean, you're still, you know, practicing. You're still kind of getting used to your brushes, getting used to your colors, getting that muscle memory. So, and because it's so simple, you can't really too mad if something doesn't look the way you want it to, because it's just practice. Right, I did a bit of a dark one here. Let's maybe change to a different one, maybe a little bit bigger. Kind of jumping around here. I should have probably stayed a bit more consistent, but it's okay. It's meant to be relaxing as well. Maybe I should have just done the pale ones and then later dark ones and overlaid them and stuff. I don't know. Anyway, it is what it is. Now this one I used a very thick pigment, so it was almost doing this dry brush effect because it was so, there wasn't enough water. There we go. Let's just go to something medium now. Not too dark, not too light. In between. Something here. And maybe here. It's a little bit too big, but okay. Right, and then I'm going to do oranges. So for the oranges, I don't actually have orange, like I mentioned, so I'm just going to mix it with the green. With the green, what are you saying? With the red, of course. Just making sure I have enough of the mix. I think what I'm going to do is maybe start with more yellowy mix. Actually, I should have started with yellow and then just added a little bit of red to it. Just, there we go. So I'm just gonna do a yellow that's orange that's kind of pale and on the yellow side, and then red, or should I just stick to one? Let's just go for it. No, I changed my mind. I'm going to do one orange, but I'll start with the pale version, which is kind of tricky now because I made it a little bit thick, but okay. Just one orange. Small circles. Let's just let them overlap a little bit. I should have gone down further down with the blues, I think, because I wanted this to have a like horizon line somewhere here, but now it's not working like I was thinking. But it's okay. Right. Maybe a little bit darker, and a little bit bigger. This is not dark enough. There we go, that's a bit better. Okay. This orange is a bit boring, isn't it? Just one color. Definitely doesn't look like a sky, but hey, it's just an exercise. For the next one, because I'm impatient and I always think about what I'm gonna do next. So it's purple and yellow that I want to do. I'm actually going to do like leaf pattern. It's one of my favorite things to practice lately. So now I just got a bit obsessed with it. So just going to do simple leaves. We're gonna layer them, and we will start with. I feel like I'm going to start with the yellow because yellow is just so pale. We'll overlay it with the purple, I think. It will be hard to layer yellow over purple, so I'll go with the yellow first. And I think I probably will not do the border this time. Well, this is not looking amazing, I have to say. I was kind of rambling on and not really paying attention. But hey, that's what it's gonna be. I think it's great that you see how bad I am at this. So that you feel better about yourself. Okay, I'm going to let this dry and then we're going to do the leaves. I'm taking the tape off. My favorite part. even though it's not really a pretty painting or anything. It's just so satisfying. Ta-da! Okay, let's move on to the leaves. So we're going to be using a round brush, which is the easiest to do the leaves with a compounding stroke. And then I'm going to make some pale orange, not orange, yellow. So lemon yellow. We're just going to do random leaf patterns. And then just overlay it with purple. So I'm starting with the very pale ones. So what I'm doing, just doing a little bit like a stem thing, and then pressing on the belly of the brush, and then lifting up, and then I'm leaving a little gap for like the middle when I can. Sometimes the gap doesn't end up happening, it ends up merging. I'm not sure you can see it because this one's so pale. Can you actually see it? I don't think you can see it very well. Well, it will look a little better on the darker ones. I'm just going different directions, gradually making them a little darker. This one I should mop up, but I have a loaded brush, so I'll just do this first. When there is like this, you can leave it, but I do want them to be a bit more flat. So I'm just mopping it up with a dry brush, thirsty brush as they call it. Okay, now a little bit darker. Press down, lift, leave a gap, press down, lift. Okay, now I want to use the lemon yellow, but a little bit more intense. There we go. I think I'm gonna leave this this little. I don't like when they are too flat and uniform. There we go. We're going to do lots of them so that the purple ones actually go over them as well. I find it quite therapeutic doing something simple, repetitive. You can just let your mind wander. But I think this sort of stroke is quite useful for the flowers and stuff. And it's important to also remember about this white space, leaving a bit of white, because like with these ones, I should have really left a bit of a gap as well. They would look so much more 3D and there would be so much more like interest in them. They look a little bit flat. Leaving a bit of white space just adds this sparkle. Right, should I use Indian yellow as well? I think so, but before I do that, I'm just going to use, this is cadmium yellow. I'm just going to make a stronger mix of cadmium yellow. There we go. Maybe one here. Let's move this a little bit. There we go. When I feel a bit like I'm not sure what to paint, this is one of the exercises that's really kind of helped me loosen up, because I've done it so many times. It's like I'm no longer using my brain to do it. I think that's why it's just so peaceful. And you can just almost forget about what you're doing and let your mind wander. Right, now Indian yellow. Maybe here. Almost orangey. This yellow is kind of like almost on the orange spectrum. These darker ones will kind of stand out more. So I'm trying to be a little bit more careful. But this is so satisfying. I don't really want to stop. Unfortunately, it's rare that I feel peace when I'm painting. I'm kind of rather anxious painter. I've been putting too much pressure on myself. But this is one of the exercises I discovered that is just really so peaceful for me. So that's why I like doing this sort of exercises. I always find something that's just, yeah, makes me feel a little bit more relaxed. And I've also noticed that the more I practice, the calmer just getting to paint becomes, because I'm building skills, and then it just becomes easier to paint. So I will be doing it probably every day, really. I'm not sure if I will film this sort of exercises every day, but I'm basically trying to paint every day. And yeah, so far I definitely did, you know, each one of these I literally did on the day that I'm posting. So I'm finding it very helpful. Okay, I'm going to need to let this dry, and then we'll get in with purple. Okay, let's move on to purple. So I've got ultramarine violet and dioxazine violet. So I think that's how you say it. Can you see it on my palette? I think you can. Okay, let's just move this maybe along a little bit. The water is getting really messy, but it's okay. Right. Okay, so let's start with the paler one. This one is the paler one. Oh, I already created like a muddy color because, as always, I don't clean my brush enough. I just created this muddy brown, as expected, with a contrasting color. Okay, so this is the paler one. Let's just do a little bit of a paler mix first. There's something strange about ultramarine violet. It's something like in the consistency, in the, I don't know, I think it has too much gum arabic or something. This one is Winsor Newton, which normally really happy with them, but this one is a little bit strange to me. It's kind of like when I mix it, it's a little bubbly. No, I don't know. Right, let's just carry on. Deep breath. So when they overlap, it's not gonna look very pretty. It's gonna look a little brown. But hey, I'm not doing it so that it's pretty. It also makes for a quite striking color combination when you use contrasting colors. But they also kind of fight against each other. So they should be used kind of, maybe not, well, I suppose sparingly, or, you know, with some sort of plan in mind, I guess. Today we're going with not much plan, just painting, relaxed and without too much worry. If there is something else that you feel comfortable painting, you can paint this instead. Just anything that you feel like you know how to paint, like a simple pattern. Could even be things like hearts, or just overlapping circles rather than this mess that I did. You can just do overlapping circles. So many different possibilities for this. Some simple shape and just overlaying. There we go. I think we'll move on to the next purple, maybe one more leaf like this. There we go. This one's quite nice. Such a lovely thin white gap. I like it. Okay, now I'm going to use this one, dioxazine violet. A little bit pale first. Just trying to dab the water a little bit off it. No, it's still too watery. Nice, okay. Right, next one somewhere here. I'm overthinking it. Just it doesn't matter. Just wherever. Right, I'll make it a little bit thicker, a little bit stronger. This one gets strong pretty fast, this color. So I need to be rather careful. Look, there you go. It's already so much stronger. I only added a little bit more pigment and it's already very punchy. A little bit thicker. Now this time I'll go proper dark. Too controlled. When things are too controlled, they usually don't end up looking too good. It's one of the things that I need to fight against. Too much control. See, the thing is, I tend to control things too much when I feel like I don't have control. And when I don't feel confident, that's when I actually try to control more. That's why practicing and getting more used to painting actually gives me enough confidence to kind of let go of control a little bit. But it is a process. It definitely is a process. Still have a long way to go. But compared to how I used to be when I was painting, how stressed it used to make me, I'm making a huge progress. And I really actually like showing you the mistakes I make. Before I used to kind of just get annoyed with myself, and now it's like maybe somebody will feel a bit uplifted and supported seeing someone else make a mistake as well. Okay, should I finish it that? I feel like maybe one or two more. It's hard to stop. I really like the dark ones. Okay, one more random one, and that's it. I think this one might end up a bit dry brush, yep, because there's so little water. It's starting to kind of like do this like a dry brush technique. Okay, that's it for today. I hope you practice as well. Maybe not necessarily like this, but I do want to encourage you to keep practicing, because that's when I find it's so much easier to paint. You know, practice is important. And yeah, don't judge yourself. At the end of the day, you know, nobody's perfect. Watercolors are hard. So yeah, good luck and happy painting.